a snowy day that wasn't thankfully as bad as they were forecasting it to be. Um, for those of you who don't know, I'm Rod Wood, the president of the Detroit Lions in Ford Field. We're here today to talk about an opportunity to have another great college football game hosted here in Detroit at Ford Field. Along with the NFL and the Lions are very much focused on football at all levels. We have our youth football program. We host the PAL championships here. We host the high school championships here. We host the MAC championships here. We host the Quick Lane Bowl. And we're excited to have another great college football game here at Ford Field. Recently, we've had several opportunities to host local universities playing in our bowl game or in the MAC championship. And Central's been here, I think, twice in the last 3 years in the bowl game and in the MAC championship. And every time we have a local team here, it's a great crowd, big feel for rooting for the home team, and we're excited to have another opportunity to do that. We're looking forward to building on the momentum from prior games when Central's been here, and looking forward to a long-term partnership with them. And with that, I'll turn it over to University President Bob Davies.
Thank you very much. It is our pleasure, since it is now 3:02 and the MAC has announced their schedule, that we'll be hosting the Central Michigan University versus Western Michigan University here at Ford Field on October the 17th. Game time has not been set yet because we anticipate this being on national television. So with that, I would like to thank Ford Field. I'd like to thank Rod Wood, president of the Detroit Lions, the Ford family, for allowing us to host this very exciting game here at Ford Field and in Detroit. I'd also like to thank the Detroit Sports Commission for all of their support for all of the activities. I also want to say that this is also is much more than just a football game. I've had the opportunity to be at the MAC championship game. We've hosted Detroit Lions alumni nights, and every time I go through your beautiful facility here, I run into people who are CMU graduates. So just real quick, will all the CMU graduates who are with us today say "Fire up, Chips"? We already got the excitement going, so that is absolutely fantastic. As I mentioned, this is not just about a football game. This is about Central Michigan University's commitment to Detroit, the Metro Detroit area, to southeastern Michigan, to our alumni, to our supporters, to the current students, to the potential students and their families, and to the many businesses and organizations that we work with. We are one of the first public universities outside of the Detroit area to have a strong presence within this area. It started back in the 1970s when we opened up several of our facilities. We are re-energizing, re-engaging with the Detroit market in many, many and very important ways. And this is a continuation of that very strong presence. We have over 150,000 alumni that live in the 10 counties that make up this particular area. That's nearly half of all of the alumni of Central Michigan University. We've hosted many events, as I've mentioned, with the Detroit Lions. We had the Red Wings event coming up. We also do with the Detroit Tigers. We do with the Detroit Pistons. We also work with all of the civic and organization groups and the theater groups and the museum groups for many alumni engagement. We also work very closely with a lot of corporations, organizations, nonprofits, school districts, and etc. This week, this time frame will allow us to re-engage not only with our alumni, but with those corporations and organizations that hire our students for internships, that support our students through scholarships and other endeavors, but also, very importantly, provides them job opportunities after their graduation. We are working, as I mentioned, we are working with all of our partners to not just have this event on this Saturday, but throughout the entire week, to engage potential students, to engage school districts, to engage others in the CMU family. This is a key area for us. It's also a key area for our current students. Over 50% of our current students up in Mount Pleasant are from this area. And so, as Michael will announce later, we are working to make sure that they have the opportunity to not only come home and visit their parents, but also showcase Central Michigan University to their friends, to their colleagues through this activity and the like. We are truly fired up about this opportunity to showcase our students beyond the football players. This includes a world-class marching band, our cheerleaders, but also the 50 or so interns that work behind the scenes that make the sporting events go. Some of them are with us today doing the social media, doing the live media. They include our journalists. It includes others that are in sports medicine. To be at a facility like this at a high end, this is about a football game, but so much more. And that is why I'm excited by this opportunity. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Michael Alford, who for 2 years has been working to make this to come to fruition. Michael Alford is the CMU athletic director. So with that, Michael, fire up chips.
Thank you, President Davies. Thank you for your fantastic leadership and vision for our university. The continued success of our university with President Davies, he always stresses two things: be creative and innovative. He challenges the groups on campus to do that. And being athletics, we're doing our part by bringing this game to this great community. The events that were surrounded here in Southeast Michigan and Detroit will be a unique way to bring the passion and really ignite the passion of CMU alums and our fan base in this area. And when we talk about events, none have the passion and energy as Central versus Western. Fans on both sides of the ball know what a great rivalry this is. I've been a pleasure to have been a part of some great rivalry in college games, and this one stands up there with the finest. And what a better place to play than here at this beautiful facility. And I was talking to Rod earlier, and he has promised me, right, Rod, it's going to be 72 degrees, no snow, no rain, no wind in this game.
I guarantee it.
You know, we have a lot of history at this facility, whether it's MAC championships or bowl games. Our fans are really passionate about coming and playing Ford Field, and we couldn't be happier to be here. I'd also like to thank the staff of the Lions. They have just been marvelous in working with, and as President Davies pointed out, this is something that we have been meeting on for over 2 years now, and it's just, I'm really proud to see it come to light. Kelly Pizzo, thank you for all your work. I know Danny J's vacationing in Florida right now and avoiding the snow, but I want to give him a shout out and thank him because he's been very instrumental in this. And Brad Michaels, thank you for all your work. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dave Beechnow of the Detroit Sports Commission. They've played just a major part in this process as well, of just bringing all the events that we're going to be doing the week of game day here to Detroit.
Thank you, Michael. Well, good afternoon, everyone. In preparation for today, I went through my closet this morning, looked for some colors to try to represent. I did the best that I could, but hopefully it works for today. But we're so excited to be a part of this announcement. And it was funny because on the way over here from my office, I got a message on my phone, and it was from a colleague in San Diego. And he was congratulating us on landing the Central Western football game. San Diego. Now, granted, he's a CMU alum, but it just shows you how far and wide this game is and how popular it is and what a rivalry it is in the state of Michigan. I also have, I'm a parent of a CMU alum. I've sent many checks to Mount Pleasant over the years. I've spent a lot of time on campus, and I think I deserve to say, and I have the right to say, fire up chips. How's that? Yeah. But I really want to thank President Davies and Michael Alford for having the vision to make this game a reality. You know, in my role, I've been chasing events for Detroit for the better part of 20 years. And never would I have imagined that the Central Western football game could or would be played in downtown Detroit in this great facility. So congratulations to both of you and your leadership and your vision to make this happen. To Rod Wood and his team and Kelly to make this deal happen. And I also want to acknowledge Rod for his work with our organization. We created a group about 4 years ago called the Detroit Sports Organizing Corp. And it's all the key stakeholders in the community. And we made a decision at that time that we're better as one than individually. And so we're driving strategy to help bring more events like this to the city. And thanks with Rod's leadership and being part of that group, this is happening. Thank you, Rod, for that. So what does this mean for the city? You know, we always talk about economic impact, and that's great. You know, to have tens of thousands of college football fans, and in my world, we call them visitors. But at the same time, it's going to have a huge impact on downtown. The hotels will be full, the restaurants, the bars. We're really excited about the opportunity to welcome visitors to the city. But I think what's equally as important is changing the conversation about Detroit. And we've done that very well over the past 5 or 6 years with all the redevelopment and commitment that's taken place in the city. So to have those tens of thousands of visitors, many which have never been here or haven't been to Detroit for a long time, this is a great platform to deliver the message and for them to see firsthand what this city has become and where we're heading. So from that standpoint, it's a great benefit to all of us who are involved here today. And then finally, Rod touched on it with some of the events that we've hosted here in Detroit, especially in the building, but we're becoming more and more of a collegiate sports event destination. Quick Lane Bowl, MAC championship in the city, and to add this game to the calendar is really, really special. We know about all the NCAA championships that we've hosted in this building over the years. Over the next 3 years, we'll be hosting 3 major NCAA events across the street at Little Caesars Arena. So the strategy that we've been able to develop in part with Rod's support and the Detroit Sports Organizing Corp, the future is very bright and we're poised for a lot of great things in the city. And in large part, it's due to the people who are sitting up here at this table with me. So once again, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be a part of this initiative and this game. While I'm looking forward to October 17th, I'm also prepared to do whatever we need to leading up to it to make sure that this is the most successful event that we've hosted to date. And more importantly, probably a longer term relationship with CMU and opportunities that may exist down the road. So all I can say is consider us all in. And thank you very much.
I think we'll take some questions.
Are you asking about the game plan? I don't know it yet. We've talked with a lot of individuals about it. As mentioned, Mr. Alfred's been working on this for 2 years or so. There is a lot of upside. When I look at what we did with the MAC championship game and the number of students who immediately took those tickets and then traveled down here and to walk the streets on that Thursday and Friday and that Saturday of the MAC championship game and to see the excitement of our students and others was absolutely amazing. To see the Alumni Association hold events, and again, with very, very few quick turnaround time, to see the events that they were holding on that Friday evening and then Saturday morning, to see the experience of those was absolutely critical. I know Mr. Alfred has talked with many business leaders throughout the Mount Pleasant area, and we talked about the long-term situation. Sure, for one weekend, the game will not be there. But as we build the excitement, as we build the brand, as we build more opportunities and connections with the alumni, with potential students, with the current students, that will continue to move forward and to grow. Since the announcement, or let me rephrase that, since the rumor announcement and the like, I've received quite a few comments. Some comments, why are you moving it? Do you really want to do this? And the like. But also, I will say this, driving down, just as we were driving down today, receiving phone calls and receiving commitments from individuals in the Detroit area that own businesses and the like that will sponsor tickets for the students. To me, that's exciting, to see that connection, to see that engagement. We had lunch at the DAC, the Detroit Athletic Club. As we walked in, many individuals said, "Oh, you're here for that big announcement." That leading excitement absolutely is something very, very important. This is about a commitment to our alumni, about our commitment to Detroit, about our commitment to furthering our university in many ways. There are a lot of upsides, no question about that. Are there risks? Driving down today in the snowstorm is a risk. Uh, we are thinking bold. We are thinking about how to move forward and how to engage people in a very, very proactive manner. So I see a lot more upsides than any negative downsides.
I can tell you this, Andy, when I sat here last year in the MAC championship and just looked across the crowd, felt the energy in this building, it immediately came to mind. I think I called Brad that next morning and said, hey, we got to speed this up. So, as President Davies said, the upsides just, there are too many of them for us to not make this happen.
Yeah, well, it certainly raises a profile of our community, and it helps deliver the message about the destination. I think as we've gone through different NCAA bid cycles and learned from that, I think the one thing that is critically important is the events that we do host. We've got to knock them out of the ballpark, and I think we've done that over the years. And it's a very competitive environment that we work in. There's sports commissions around the country who are probably sitting in another press conference today announcing another event, but we feel like we have to work harder than anyone else in the country because we're Detroit and we do that and we're blue collar. So for us to be successful in hosting the events that we do, and it's also about a relationship business. So to be sitting up here with an institution who is a good partner of ours and could help us in other ways moving forward, whether we already have the MAC championship here, but other conference tournaments and events that we could host, I think that only demonstrates how successful we can stage an event here in Detroit.
Yeah, we have a Q&A right now. It's been released, right, Rob, on our website at 3:01. I think it went up. A Q&A pretty much answering all the ticket questions that you could possibly have. But we are also going to provide shuttles for students like we did in the MAC championship game for them to come down. As President Davies pointed out, we've had, on the way down here, great response from people calling us wanting to sponsor student tickets. So right now we're talking about 2,000 student tickets being sponsored. That more details will come out, of course, how you register to get those later when it comes closer to the game. But the response has just been amazing, and we have that Q&A on the site to explain all of our ticket situations.
As I mentioned, the community is behind Central Michigan University and seeing us grow and working with our community partners with that, and they understand the importance that it has of us being in this market and growing this market and having those connections. And so it's one weekend. They have some other opportunities to recoup that, if you will, but also as we grow our student population, as we continue to engage alumni and bring them back for homecoming, which will be the next weekend. There's a lot of other opportunities to continue those partnerships. They understand the long game that we are in.
I could just speak for CMU is that we're very excited to bring this game. This is a home game for us. We couldn't be more excited to move that to 72 degrees, right, Ron? And perfect game day into one of the finest facilities, if not the finest facilities of the National Football League. It just provides us a great opportunity to engage our fans and provide the student-athlete experience for our students to play in this venue as we did in the MAC championship game last year.
I think obviously the combine's going on this weekend, so there's this incredible connection between college football and pro football, and the draft's right around the corner. So setting that aside, obviously just having an opportunity to interact with two teams, I'm sure there'll be draftable players on both teams that are going to be playing here. But beyond that, it's just building football, and as I said in the opening comments, we're all about expanding the fans for football, expanding exposure that youth have to football, and keep this game the great game that it is. A number of NFL teams do share their stadiums with colleges that play all their home games there. This is a great way, I think, for us to have a game here on a regular basis, on top of the championship game, on top of the bowl game. It's a big undertaking for us, but we're happy to do it because I don't know that we're not going to be playing home the day after this game. So our folks are prepared to deal with the home Lions game on Sunday after a home CMU game on Saturday. But we're willing to take that on because it helps, I think, continue to build the brand of football, college to pro. I'm sure there'll be some fans, if we are playing at home, that might stick around and watch the Lions game, which we'd be happy to have the entire CMU group stick around for a day if we're at home. And I'm sure some of our fans will come down and watch this game because our fans love football. And there's another opportunity to watch football. They'll be here, and I'm sure they'll be supporting the two universities they're playing.
Yeah, I mean, personally, we've been involved more recently, probably over the last 9 to 12 months. But certainly, I know the conversations with the Lions and the university have been much longer than that, and we're just thrilled and happy to be a part of the conversation and what we can bring to this event in terms of helping promote the event to the visitors who will be here in any other way possible, because we know it's important not only for the city but everything that we're trying to do moving forward strategically.